All right, friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related, and at this moment, related to this Aserai campaign. In particular, this Aserai Peasants Revolt, right? We are running around Calradia with an army comprised of mostly bandits and minor clans and militia, and we are going to do our best here to enact one of the great rebellions of all time. Now, obviously, we're going to have to do so using our brain, using some tactics, and we shall see. Maybe a little bit of the My Little Warband mod. That is a probable for this campaign. I'm sort of keeping it on the back burner for now, both as a teaser for you fellas, but also just as something that I can use down the road. You will see these characters when I go to a town. They're available for us to recruit, and we're not going to recruit any for the time being. Of course, we're not using Aserai units, right? These desert rebels right here. These are the units, right? It's just a little sneak peek here to keep your taste buds salivating for more. But we shall see when and how we use those guys, right? It will probably be because we need to use them. Now we're looking for targets of opportunity here, but speaking of opportunity, right? The Aserai have a war with the Khazate that's going badly for them. They're being kind of overrun, frankly. In fact, I'm a little bit becoming concerned about the Khazate being a bigger threat here than the Aserai. Of course, they're still at peace with us, right? That's why they're in white. But I think we will take advantage of this and attack deadedga and try to add this to our growing list of cities. Now, I also want to add a minor tour clan. I'm going to add minor clans to our army, right? We're not going to recruit other nobles to our army. I will do a player clan at some point, I think. In other words, we will take one of our mercenaries, or I guess what are they called? They're companions, and we will ennoble them, or in this case, we will rebel them, right? We will turn them into a rebel leader and give them a fief. For now, though, we're going to try to blitz deadedga here. There's 672 troops, but it's mostly militia, so I think even with our army here of sort of mediocre troops that we can pull this off. And we may already have an interruption here. There's a force of Aserai coming our direction, so we shall see here. Okay, yeah, they're definitely coming to defend. What? Never mind. They either heard what happened to the other Aserai force and want nothing to do with us. In fact, that's what we'll roleplay. Their commander got cowardice. He heard how devastating our assault was on the last Aserai force, and so he's going somewhere else. Who knows what he's doing? He's probably dealing with all these Khazate force, right? The Aserai are absolutely under assault here by the Khazate. It's been kind of a blitz. Even though it doesn't really have direct effect on us, it's been kind of fascinating to watch these NPC kingdoms go to war. Now we're going to blaze through this city here, but I don't want any fire catapults, of course, because we need to... Hey, we're getting pregnant and shit. Rayma's getting pregnant. Sweet. It's always nice to know your character's fucking. It's always good to fuck, right? That's good for prosperity, and more kids and more population means more taxes and, right, all that kind of good stuff. More people that can plow the fields and whatnot, or wield a battle axe. Of course, this campaign is highly, highly unlikely to get to the stage where these children grow up. But we shall see, right? Maybe there'll be a Peasants Revolt sequel down the road. Hopefully, we just fucking conquer the whole map here, and we don't need to do that. We've got this lurking Aserai force, and that makes me uncomfortable because there might be more Aserai coming, but we are about to launch our assault here, and I would actually do it right now if they started to happen upon us. Okay, fire catapults down, pause everything. What a beautiful setup. We've got a ram, we've got 2 fire catapults, we've got a couple of trebuchets, and an army full of very poor, ready to make some money, pillage and loot looters and forest bandits. Admittedly, we got some forest bandits. We got some good bandits, right? We got some of the good stuff. Hell, we even have a forest bandit boss. I think we actually have 2 of them. The guys that you fight often at the end of a hideout. We've been able to recruit some of these prisoners over the last couple of years, and we have a handful of units. I guess they're tier 5, right? So I guess technically we do have a few tier 5 in our army. Now I'm going to fire a catapult. I've fallen in love recently with firing catapults at the early stages of siege for 2 reasons. First, you can really obliterate the enemy with fire catapults if you can dial your aim in and if they're trying to defend. they rate to defend here, right? Because it's mostly militia, and these guys are going to come up on the walls with their little tiny spears, their little pathetic shields, and do their best to stand there as cannon fodder for my cannon, right? We're going to obliterate some militia here. The second reason I like to do it is that with Cole's armor, right? We still don't have a name for this fella here. I appreciate all the suggestions, by the way. Of course, I always appreciate that. Actually, I don't know if I can do better than what our guys on the catapult already did. I may replace them anyways, just because, you know, I'm a man, so I like to be in control. We'll do some fucking power trip in here, tell our units we're in charge, and then probably hit our own troops with the catapult. Yeah, I mean, how am I going to do better than that? But partly I'm also doing it, I mentioned before, because I don't have a lot of armor. So we can't just go barreling up there with Cole and get smoked by the initial defenders, right? There'll be archers, they'll have some elite troops, some Legionary, or I guess palace guards and whatnot. We'll let our own troops get smoked here. We'll be a traditional general leader and let them be the vanguard. The days where kings charged at the front of the vanguard, you know, and we're the very first one to be shot at by the enemy archer, those are over by about 1,200 years. And over the course of years, of course, kings have learned, yeah, gee, that's a really good way to not become king anymore, right? To die, my 6-year-old takes over, his uncle, his fucking corrupt uncle poisons him, and then our family line is extinguished. So we will sit on this catapult here and see what we can do here. All right, and oh no, my prophecy was correct. We're smoking our own troops here. Hopefully I can dial it in here. It's very difficult to see. Of course, the AI sees with fucking perfect vision, but you can just barely make out the troops there. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Right between the two different ladders, we just smoked like half the enemy defenders there. A couple more shots here. That should drill them. Oh, shit, it went right over. And we will join our men. I mean, what this really does is it blows the enemy off the wall, right? Like their defenders, if they have 50 defenders and you kill 30 with the fire catapult, it's like over. So I actually see our troops are just pouring in, and this is going to be a quick city take, right? Some cities are you can just look. Unfortunately, the game tells you exactly what troops are inside cities. That's a big fault of the scouting system. It should just give you an idea. It should say something literally like lots of troops, going to be hard, or very easy, looks lightly defended. Never in world history did they have like an exact manifest or what do they call that? Yeah, a manifest of the amount of troops that are inside. Oh, there's exactly 187 infantry archers, exactly 37 palatine cards. This is a real fault of the system, but I digress. We are nevertheless going to quickly blast through this city. This city is one of the richest and nicest in the Imperial Empire. It's certainly one of the most beautifully designed. Well, of course, we took this as our capital in our Aserai campaign, and it was central to the story of the whole campaign, right? It was sieged several times, and I'm not going to tell you, the whole story. You're going to have to watch that campaign, of course, if you didn't see it, but just know that this is a wonderful city. It's not super easy to defend. It is defendable. I would give it like a C+ or maybe a C. It can be defended, but it's not terrific. These fucking buildings are too close to the walls. Alright, so a lot of these sieges here we will blaze through in the early stages of this Peasants Revolt. And I say early stages not knowing how many episodes there are going to be. In the Aserai campaign, I anticipated 40 to 50 episodes. Here, I really don't know, fellas. There might be, honestly, there might be 12 episodes. Or there might be 82 or 32 or something like that. It depends on a lot of different factors. One of them being just your interest, right? If you guys are digging this, us running around with militia and fucking forest bandits, sea raiders and whatnot, and just tactically dicing and slicing our enemies, then maybe we'll do 50, 60 episodes. We shall see. It's going to be extremely hard to actually conquer the whole map with this kind of an army. Hence the My Little Warband backup, right? We're going to leave that as sort of an out clause in case it turns out to be impossible to take over Calradia with looters. We have lots of looters. What we don't have is tons of elite bandits, right? You can see expanding becoming a problem because of our lack of elite bandits. It took a long time, about 2 years of gameplay, collecting bandits, putting them in castles, recruiting prisoners to get to this stage. And of course, just like oil, it's a non-renewable resource, right? Or at least it's very slowly renewed. All right, we're going to fight this one out here. This one just sort of feels necessary, and I'm over-caffeinated, so we're going to blaze through here and just smash all these militia, give them the fucking stink fist here, and just smash these guys to obliteration, and seize another city here, right? We are really starting to crimp in on the Aserai. Of course, the Aserai are really being hammered here by two different kingdoms, right? We're attacking them. Oh, shit. You see how weak his armor is. These little militia swinging their sickle, they really gave him a licking right there. I gotta remind myself that I've got this helmet. I wish I had like a lordly or a legendary bear hat. We're either gonna stick with this or we're gonna find something a little bit more peasant-like that's a little bit better. Because I think it's 22 or 24 for armor. It's exceedingly weak. All right, so you're going to see this over and over again. You're going to see me sort of scrolling through the prisoners because we need prisoners. We need militia archers. Especially we need archers in our army. There's not very many bandits that are archers except for, what are they, the mounted pillagers. And those guys never upgrade and they're tier 2. It's basically a looter on a horse with the fucking bow. Not a good outcome expected. No armor whatsoever. And our first encounter with horse archers, they literally died en masse. So it's not gonna work terrific if that's the only archers we have. All right, so you'll see me going to towns. A lot of times I'm just going to narrate over this. The first handful of times I'll always tell you guys this is a standard thing. Every single town we're going to sell all our worthless loot that we don't want. We're going to buy all of their tools, all of their food, all of their usable horses. We're going to go through here and basically we'll take all their livestock because this is food, right? We're going to have a bunch of hungry looters and bandits. And anytime you're starting a kingdom, you're going to have starving peasants somewhere, right? So we're going to stockpile food. We're going to leave governors, at least in a few cities here, because it's very likely at some point that the Southern Empire declares war. The Khazate may declare war. We're really looking at potentially 3 or 4 different kingdoms all attacking us at the same time. This is a very precious period of time for us to make some ground here, make some hay, so to speak, and reinforce things. The consolidation of power is what they would call this. All right, so what's this Aserai force going to do? I'm not going to leave for sure because it would come here immediately. They're being attacked. Let's go help. These motherfuckers are definitely being attacked. That must be Khazate. Let's ass jam these Aserai. In fact, let's try to trap that little army. Our enemies' enemies are our friends, and for sure, early on in this campaign, we will take these advantages. These are advantages that you will see in your own campaign. We will definitely pound the Aserai here. See if we can trap this little army and the big Aserai army. I've had some unusual troop movement. I've had my own units not move at all. I've had them release and they just say holding, just stand still. And I've seen enemy units also just standing there. It's like they're preparing to join an army, but they can't figure out how to get there or something. So we'll see if that affects, if that's a bug. I don't know. I don't think I got a new update on Bannerlord, so I'm not sure where that's coming from. But we'll see. We'll see if we're getting bugs maybe from one of these mods we're using. Most of the time, these mods have been very stable. All right, so strategy, right? What are we going to do now? Obviously, the Southern Empire is likely to attack. I don't think they're at war with anybody. Oh, except us. Duh, I actually forgot that they declared war on us. So we're at war with the Southern Empire, and that's it, right? So they're at war with a minor clan, but that's not a thing. The thing is that while we're up here, and we're 5-6 days from down there, I want to really push the shit in here, knock the shit out of this Aserai army, and I want some buffer cities and or castles. What are they at? The Khazate are all going to Dunustica. All right. You guys can welcome to our city. This used to be the Aserai. You guys are welcome. It's going to be a problem if the Khazate declare war on us because they have huge forces. We have a little bit of a balance of power issue, right? If we were doing the English strategy in the 14th to 18th century, we would actually be encouraging the Aserai at this stage to win. But I do want to continue to talk about victory conditions for this campaign because just like this campaign is sort of imaginary with these rules we've placed on ourselves, there are victory conditions for this campaign where I will consider it complete. and that is to destroy the Aserai and to destroy the Southern Empire, right down to the last castle and city. If I accomplish those two things, the campaign may be over. And I say may because depending on how interesting the campaign is, if and when we get to that stage, I may decide to go further, right? I'm keeping that open-ended. But that's my goal, is to defeat the Aserai and defeat the Southern Empire. Obviously, defeating both of them at the same time is going to be hard. I will probably focus on one or the other. This is what I was looking for here, right? What I want is reinforcements for these cities. I want to add another city here, and look at this. This is beautiful. We have steppe bandits. These are all horse archers. Now, they're not strong horse archers, but what I'm going to be able to do is add these 200, or most of them. I don't know, maybe we'll have some deserters, and then I'm going to take Odok, and then we will add the other group, right? We just force them to join our army here, right? We have this. There we go. There we go. That we have this forced conscription into our army, and all of a sudden we get these tier 3 horse archers for free. It's pretty sweet, right? We don't have many advantages in this series. We are simulating that every time we come up to bandits and raiders, they're like, oh yeah, they give us a big pat on the back and they join the revolution. All right, so we'll spread these units around to our different armies here because I'm overstocked. Don't want too many... we don't want too many deserters here, and then we're going to siege Odok. And speaking of revolutions, right, how am I going to keep this campaign interesting, despite the fact that it's going to be interesting with tactics, with carnage, with profanity, with just the chaos of fighting with looters and sea raiders and whatnot? We are going to talk at least some, about the French Revolution. I've already covered some aspects of important periods of history before on the channel. I like to have sort of themed periods where I spend 2, 3, 6, 7, 12 episodes talking about the same thing. Now this is interesting. I want to show you this. Look at the army that's in there. It's almost all archers. I don't know why it says 600. It says 184 for a garrison. Yeah, so it's 184. Almost all their forces are archers. So we're going to actually proceed with this castle differently than I normally do. Okay, so the Southern Empire is sieging. Damn. Well, we're not going to be able to get down there and save that castle. That's too far away. We'll do a trade here, right? This is like a trade in chess. We'll definitely take the enemy's bishop for one of our pawns. Adding this city here in exchange for a castle is okay. Plus, we should be able to race down there and start fighting the Southern Empire. Manchug. I'm scoreboard watching, of course, this whole campaign to see what else happens. This is good, right? The Khazate and Sturgeons are fighting. That could have easily been the Khazate declaring war on us. A lot of times the enemy AI does that when it has a lot of troops and is sort of gaining a head of steam. It's basically triggered and said, well, get more pugnacious, fight more people, right? Declare war. Basically, the AI is programmed to try to take advantages when it has them. One of our quests just failed. Whatever it is. So anyway, so we will be talking about the French Revolution and this fascinating, tumultuous time in human history. I'm fascinated with the French Revolution, even though I'm American. I know probably more about the French Revolution and the battles than I do about the American Revolution, which it might strike you as odd, but I find the French Revolution to be even more interesting on a number of different levels, and I will talk more about that. Both of them basically had the same concept. Let's throw this king off our shoulders and become our own civilization without a king. And of course, ultimately, they had very different outcomes. If you know the history already, right, it might not be a whole lot of interesting information to you, but hopefully that can keep these campaign episodes lively. I feel pretty qualified to do this. I will undoubtedly get some things wrong, but I honestly think I could give like a 4-hour history professor class with no textbooks, right? I can do it all from memory and just my understanding of that period from reading many different books and learning deep levels about history, Wikipedia surfing, etc. All right, so I do want to talk about tactics here because, like I said, we are going to pursue a very different process here. We are going to ignore the ladders for once, right? So think about it from this perspective. The enemy does not have any troops on the walls, right? You see anybody shooting? I don't see. If they start shooting, we'll treat this differently. But they have mostly archers, and so they're not getting on the walls. This is almost like the computer learns from us, but this is a program. If they don't have any infantry, they don't guard the walls, right? They're not going to put archers up here to try to try to stop these ladders from coming up. Now, I'm just going to tell these guys to stand still. Because I don't want them all climbing up these ladders. We're going to do a little bit of reconnaissance here, right? We're going to do just a little peekaboo. You guys can shoot. Kill these guys. I just want these guys to knock these guys back a little bit so that I can peek to see if the archers are doing what I think they're doing. And they are. See those fucking archers down there? They had 40 cons guards and a bunch of other high-end archers. We don't want to go down there. Look at this guy trying to push the ladder while I'm standing here. Fucking genius, dipshit. We'll let these guys throw our javelins, but I'm not going to send troops up these ladders. So what we're going to do, basically, is blast through the door. I've got the ram coming up. At some point or other, we may send some troops there, but what I'm going to do this siege here, and I know it's an easy siege, right? It's 180 troops, but I've had battles before where I tried to use the ladders here before the ram got there, and I lost 400 troops. Why? Because they smoke you as you get off the ladder, right? They learn from our strategy, and more accurately, it's how the game mechanics work. Troops coming up the ladders with archers in the courtyard are automatically dead. They're all dead, right? They're just shot with 87 arrows. Even if they have their shields up, they're all dead. So evidently, nobody's going to do this but me. I have been told you can hold the little gears over the door, but a lot of times that doesn't work. My troops just fucking stand there even after they've been ordered to get in. So, we're keeping an eye above our head here, and we're going to shove the 4th, 5th, and 6th Corps right through the main gate. Oh, you fucking assholes. God, my character's delicate. Alright, so let's send this square right through the main gate. They have hard landing guys here. There's like 10 infantry. Where are their archers? Okay, their archers are mostly over here on the left. I don't know how this guy's blocking, facing the other way. Oh shit, those troops did get up, but there's no archers over there, so that's good. I don't know if that was a snafu or what, but let's push in here. Right, there's 120 troops here, and it's mostly archers. Let's send our shield wall first, and then once they're screened, we will get archers spread out behind these guys. Look at all the cons guards over there, right? It's marksmen and cons guard. We go up the ladder in this siege attempt, especially with these looters and guys with no armor. Almost some of them no shields. Like, we would suffer huge casualties. So, just trying to be intelligent here with the weaknesses we have, and blast through this keep. Right, you don't want 300 casualties here when troops are so dear in this campaign. Right, we don't want to replace a bunch of. We don't even want to replace these tier 3 guys like these mounted pillagers with looters, and we might have to do that if we start suffering lots of losses. We're happy to joust here with cons guards with our ultra-fast hammer. Nothing is faster than this thing. I mean, except the faster hammer, right? There's no weapon in the game that compares with this thing for speed. It's just sick. I think this is 97, and we actually have a hammer that's 112 speed. It's pretty long, too, right? Like, I can outswing some of these glaives. And this poor Aserai force in here. I was going to say Kazate, but this poor Aserai force in here got the literal beatdown. I mean, that was a fucking thrashing. And that's, 40, 50 losses at most. And that's exactly what we needed here as we take this city. A quick beatdown. A quick beatdown. Very few casualties. Morale goes up. Some troops upgrade. 7 deaths. That's what I'm talking about. Of course, his two-handed skill continues to go above 330 because he's got that smithing skill, right? So he's got 5 or 6 perk points, technically. It doesn't show 6, I think, but he has 6 perk points now in two-handed. So either it's a gimmick, a bug, or whatever it is, we're going to take advantage of it in this series. We're wearing much worse armor than we would for a normal campaign. So how I figure is that Cole is a little bit of like a barbarian spec, right? A barbarian prototype. He takes a lot of damage, but he does even more. So as long as we protect him, use him smartly, and that's kind of fun too, right? It basically requires more thought in how you use your character. He's going to be destructive used correctly. All right. So Odok is ours here. We'll leave some reinforcements here. What I want to do is I want to run over and grab these looters. There's 300 looters there. We're going to grab those guys. It's an instant garrison, right? We just take these looters. We've got these other horse archers now, these Karakurgit, or however you fucking pronounce it. And we're going to jam them in this garrison and then beat feet south. We can't lose Iakas or Hubyard. So we got to do this kind of in a hurry. These guys are over here. There's almost 500 looters. Now I fucked. What? Oh, shit. You motherfuckers. We're the rebels. You guys should be joining us. Well, don't I look like an asshole? I guess you just deal with it. So we're overstocked here. I don't think we'll go back to that city and siege it. I gotta get down there and deal with the Southern Empire. These fucking rebels have fucked with my plan here. I had every plan to reinforce this city with these looters and then run down south and start to twist the arm of the Southern Empire. But instead, we're kind of leaving here in disgrace as these rebels, Odok's rebels. They got a nice red color, too. They should join our fucking rebellion. Fucking assholes. Unfortunately, I said earlier I was going to join. I was going to basically encourage rebellions and try to help them. Well, it's a little different when they rebel against you, right? Because they declare war on you and not other people. So this is highly suboptimal, but that's how the game is played, right? And I remind you that we don't save scum for these episodes, with the exception of bugs or something really unusual. Every once in a while I have to save scum because I forgot to record. Something like that happens. I lose a saved file. Most of the time, though, these battles are just, battles and campaign are just played out. And so you get bad things happen like that. Now, this is a good thing. This is a beautiful thing. This guy is just begging to be recruited to the army. In fact, we're going to literally herd this guy to the front gates here of Hassan Folk. Amplify the garrison to a huge number here. And these are archers, right? They're horse archers, but in a siege defense, they become archers. This is gold, right? We're just going to go that way. There he goes. Look at that. We're just going to shove him to Hassan Folk. He's practically going to enter the city for us here. And how beautiful is this, right? Just 318 free troops. We'll take them all. And into the city, we will dump most of these guys, right? So there's going to be a huge force here at Hassan Folk, and it's been largely free. Now, anybody saying, you're taking advantage of gimmicks and stuff like that? Yeah, absolutely. We have the Dangerous Bandit mod. When I first installed this mod and I was playing around with it, I was like, well, okay, so there are going to be some irregularities, right? You got these bandit armies of 500 and 900 and stuff like that. For this campaign, where we are not using any of the regular troops, I think it's just fine that we get a bunch of Karakurgit riders. It's not like these guys are elite. We got some looters still. Now here, I'm actually just going to dump some looters. You can see we're way overstocked. I've got just too many troops. So I'm actually just going to tell some of these looters, you guys can go back to looting. Please loot some Aserai towns. Now, I apologize. It's by habit. I clicked the recruit troop. That's not a striptease. I'm not like fucking with you guys like over and over again. I like to have a little teaser with you guys, but I'm not just going to fucking blue ball you. We will talk about the My Little Warband units pretty soon. Not too long from now. I'm not going to show you them all, but I'll give you a little insight as to what I did. All right, so we talked about French Revolution here. We've talked about our plan for this campaign. We've talked about adding all these bandits. What else can we cover here? The victory conditions, like I said, I want to defeat to the last person insolent fuck the Southern Empire and the Aserai. If both of those are defeated, we will consider this victory, and we're gonna. Honestly, I don't know if we can do it, if I'm being perfectly honest. And part of the reason, I'll mention this part, we are using another mod that makes the enemy much, much stronger. I've covered this before in the Aserai campaign, but in 30 seconds, the Strength and AI mod. Motherfucking sieging Danustica. All right, well, we're gonna destroy whatever is sieging our city already. The Strength and AI mod basically gives the enemy more troops, better troops, and better lords. It gives them actually grain. There's a bunch of other advantages. Look at these guys. You guys got blood on your glaives? I think they just destroyed that Aserai force. It's almost like we're allied with the Khazate here. Oh shit, here's another opportunity. Let's see, we'll attack them. We're not about to let these fucks attack us. Look at this shit. The Khazate, basically like our puppy dogs here. Sick 'em. This is great. It's an unintended thing that's part of a campaign, and that's what makes a campaign interesting, right? We got rebels fucking us over, and on the other side here we have the Khazate helping us. So I think I'm going to keep narrating, but a little bit of a journey to get down. Medini Castle's gone. So it's going to take 4 or 5 days to get down there. I don't think I'll narrate that whole way. This is beautiful, right? The Khazate defended Danustica for us. Thank you very much. And then they're slamming this Aserai force that might have sieged next, right? So a beautiful thing here. as we head south. It's fucking awesome. Bannerlord is so fun. I mean, there's all kinds of bugs. There's things they could improve. But man, this game is fun. Look at them just slaughtering that Aserai force. Fucking rebels. Alright, these minor clans. We're definitely going to look to recruit minor clans here. Yeah, we got... Oh, shoot. That might be one of them. Volg. I think this guy's another one of these minor clans. I think this guy's the leader. We might be able to add him. This would be great. Alright, let's get him. We don't have, of course, any help right now other than looting parties running around. Let's corner this guy. All right. Come on, come on.
What is your...
I'm here to... Here we go. He would like to join us. That is fair. He wants 320 gold. We have plenty of gold. Come join the army. And let's go. Sweet. Although... Damn, what do I do here? So here's the thing, fellas. This guy's got all kinds of elite troops, right? He's been recruiting. He's got tier 6 troops, tier 5 and tier 6 troops. So,
Your Highness.
I think we will disband this guy from the army. I'm not going to kick his clan out of our kingdom, but we're not fighting in this campaign with... damn, that fucks up some of my plans. We're not fighting with tier 6 units in our army. There may be an accidental few that slip through that my companions recruit. We got to race down here and deal with this city, but I'm not going to... I don't know what I'm going to do with that, actually. Maybe I'll just let the minor clans, they can join our kingdom, but I won't recruit them into the army, so we'll have a little bit of help that way, and yet they won't be on the battlefield. Yeah, I'm just not going to recruit their troops, or their armies, because they'll have fucking Legionary, and I don't want... That's the whole point, right? We don't want to use those units. I'm painstakingly making sure we don't use those units, you fucking rebels. So I think we will not do that. Unfortunately, that's going to make this harder, right? Because that means that we don't have access to all those, not just all those troops, but that would make our army much larger. If we recruited them all, let's do this first. So what do we do here, right? I think engineering. I've got one perk point. There's a lot of things I really want to use it on. I'd love to level up his polearm. He's probably not going to get to like level 48 in this campaign. So it does make sense that we're going to do a lot of siege and counter siege. I think it makes the most sense just to pump up his engineering. These Aserai villages, we're going to demand food from these fucking guys here. And again, I don't know if I'm going to be narrating this whole thing because it's going to take us a hot minute to get down to Ayakis. But I'm just going to keep doing my thing, right? A lot of times I narrate and then I over-narrate it or delete it and edit it all together. And so it doesn't fucking matter if I say stupid shit. In fact, let's go on a racist rant here. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, I despise racism. But speaking of racism, right? These fucking Mongol motherfuckers. I wonder if people consider Mongols a racist slur. Anyways, the Khazate are overwhelming the Aserai up north. That's good and bad, right? Because the good, the Aserai are going to be easier to conquer if they lose a bunch of their territory. It's pretty obvious that Cole... early in this campaign, and what I mean by that is before we declared independence, was a major reason why the Khazate, or why the Aserai were expanding, right? We were helping the Aserai armies and we were crushing everything. As soon as we become independent and start attacking them, the Aserai are just a weak bitch staggering around like they have no idea what to do. I'm not terribly surprised at that based on previous experience. Look at all these juicy looters, right? Anytime we want, we can get some looters. And again, this guy's got mounted ransackers. Those are the tier 3 cavalry. So pretty nice, right? We've got all these little options for troops. But the point I was just making is since we're not using the minor clans, I can't invite, what is it, Volg and his friends to our army. Our army would be like almost 2,000 if I was able to invite all those to the army. We're not going to be able to do that. Or more accurately, I'm not going to let myself do that for difficulty's sake. I'm going to keep buying food here. Fortunately, we're almost to Ayakis, so maybe I will end up keeping all this material here. I'm explaining some important points here. Basically, losing out on the minor clans is really going to be a major handicap because we're not going to be able to add all those troops to the battlefield and to our army size. In other words, most of this campaign, we're going to have an army of 1,000 or less. That's going to be an obvious disadvantage. Now, whatever's here tore through Medini Castle. They did that overnight. I think we can probably handle with whatever troops we have, although, whoa, right, it's just fucking neon pink and purple colors here, 3,000. It's over 3,000 Southern Empire forces. And of course, they have no other army, no other enemies, right? So they're going to be applying all of their weight to us here. We can try and defend. What kind of troops do these guys got here? Let's take a peek when we get closer at some of these armies. Of course, we know what kind of troops we have, right? We've got Jawal Bedouins, and we've got Karak Hergut riders and shit like that. We've got some lake rats. We do have some powerful minor clan, mercenary, whatever you want to call them. But they definitely have better troops. Some free looters over there. There's signs all over the place that say free looters. You know how guys outside their yard, they're like, free stuff. Well, that's how this map looks like to me. It says, oh shit. Okay, so these are powerful armies. 207 elite cataphracts. Another 106 imperial cataphracts. Yikes. And that, I mentioned it a minute ago, that is from the Strengthen AI mod. How it works basically is it gives the troops, the enemy lord troops, more EXP every day. That means they upgrade much faster than a normal rate. So we're facing not only a huge force here, but this is a juggernaut strong army. And I'm not pretending that I'm uncomfortable here, right? We have a mediocre rebel army. I'm trying to picture squares. A bunch of looters standing there holding up their little ice picks and whatever they have, you know, their sickle, does not make a good square. So I'm trying to anticipate difficulties here. We do have a lot of ranged units, right? We're going to be able to throw thousands, literally thousands of javelins into these fucks. So let's do this. Let's break in here. It is well over 3,000. And the other army is powerful too. They're not totally stacked, but they're very powerful. Like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. They're not as powerful as they could be, but they're very powerful. And 3,800. Of course, these lords, that gives you a snapshot, right? They are enhanced by the Strengthen AI mod, which means they get all kinds of perks and their fucking troops get more hit points and shit like that. This is going to be gnarly. That said, you know, I am at this stage, I can literally say I am a commander with 1,000 siege wins in my belt, right? I have a huge amount of Bannerlord game time experience and especially siege defense. So we welcome this. Now, this city I've only defended once or twice. It has a really unique layout. So let's look over things here for a second and come up with a plan. I can put archers up here. Archers and infantry. In fact, the 8th Corps, I think, will mix archers and infantry. The infantry there is to protect them in case they get rushed by a bunch of enemies, right? Enemies a lot of times will rush your archer positions, trying to kill the people shooting them. And if you put some infantry in there, the same division, a lot of times those infantry guys support them nicely. It's a good way of kind of making 2 divisions out of 1. Now, the first, second, and third, we will do infantry. I like to have at least 2 exchangeable units. Now, unfortunately, reinforcements are going to come into the 2nd Division that are archers, so we'll probably have them expel their javelins early on here. I don't have any companions that have decreased taken melee attack damage. None. Not one. Motherfucker. Oh, you know what? Arwa's doing a quest. Okay, she does. This is not a great high-level companion, but she at least has that banner that gives that 1st Division decreased taken melee attack damage. Why is that important? Because they're going to be getting pounded. These guys are basically going to be porn stars in this episode. They are going to be getting pounded from every position possible. Hopefully that's not too crass for you fellas, but they are going to be getting pounded. All right, so there's more javelins in there that I would prefer, right? If they're getting pounded, they're not going to be able to throw their javelins. So I would actually prefer that the 1st Division was all spear, sword, shield infantry. Although, you know what? I think we just have so many lake rats and brigands and whatnot that most of our infantry has javelins. That's a good thing and a bad thing. That means these javelins are kind of wasted. But here's an idea, right? We can switch these units out. At some point or other, I can expel javelins in like the 2nd Division and then switch them out and basically turn the 2nd into a square, pull the 1st Division out, and it's like we reload our gun. If you don't know too, especially the Lake Rat Wreckers and the Beni Zalal, whatever they are, soldier or whatever, they have 10 javelins. I think they're the only units in the game, besides the Wildlings, the Battanian Wildlings, that have 10 javelins. And that's an elite thing I want to mention here, right? If you use skirmishers, those 2 units, especially for minor clans, they're only tier 4. and they have 10 javelins. That's uber powerful if you know if you know how to use them. And fortunately, we do. So I've got a few different slopes here to play with archers. These guys have a little bit of an angle on the front gate and a little bit of micromanagement. Hopefully we can clean that up once the battle starts. The 6th over here in a nice spread division. There's mixed infantry and archers there too, because the enemy's going to be charging at them from that side. Of course, we're going to try to destroy whatever they have for siege weapons. I think they had a siege tower on the left. We will try to destroy this, but if we don't, we need to have a contingency plan. Another archer tranche here. Let's see if we can put the 6th. And that looks good, right? Those guys have a nice angle. Oops, actually that's the 7th. Those guys, that looks good. They can shoot down and help the guys in the courtyard. I'm going to have to manually move that 3rd division. I don't have any line of sight, but I think this looks good. I think this looks like a winning formula. Give those guys a little bit more space, and into battle we go here. It's a beautiful fucking landscape. The Aserai landscapes really are picturesque. Of course, it makes me want to travel and go to like Zion and some of the incredibly beautiful places within the western United States. And now we're gonna have our horse rear up on us. Come on, boy, get up there. And we're gonna manually move this 3rd division around. I swear Cole's head is banging on the rafters here because he's so big.
After me!
Look at his head goes through the rafters. All right, yeah. See, I can't get these troops lined out like I want. You just the UI does a terrible job in situations like this, and guys are like, "Well, hey, get the scatter around." This is like 100 skirmishers. You know how boring that would be for you to watch me trying to manually adjust 100. Well, I guess it's only 60. No, it is 100. It's 100 javelin throwers. This will be the next best thing. I can just spread these guys out, and as soon as they're close, tell them to stop. Now we're also going to have them hold fire, because what I don't want is them throwing 100 javelins at one guy coming up the ladder, right? We're going to wait until there's more targets. All right, speaking of targets, we've got a nice catapult here. We've got a siege tower coming up. Let's fuck this thing up. Boom, boom, boom. It's already below half, so we should be able to take the siege tower out. Then we're going to start raining in these fireballs on the rest of the enemy army here. Let's see, what can we talk about here? All right, let's talk about rock throwing, since this is kind of like rock throwing. When I was a kid, I had a cannon of a throwing arm, and I had a little bit of a stressful childhood. My parents were separating at times. You know, the normal stress probably that most kids face. If your parents were in love your whole life, and you still have parents that love each other, congratulations, you're a rare kid, a rare adult. In this day and age, a lot of parents just don't make it 50 years. So like a lot of kids, I had a little bit of stress, and I threw rocks. Now, this fucking siege tower is out of range, so I might have fucked us here trying to tell my stories. But actually, this is ironic. Maybe I can throw rocks at that thing when it's a little closer and destroy it. So when I was 7, 8 years old, I would literally, like on impulse, throw rocks through windows. Like, I would be at school, I'm in the 3rd grade, just firing rocks at windows. One more shot here. We're gonna, speaking of firing rocks, we're gonna be able to hit that siege tower. And it's something, of course, I worked through. I'm not like a 50-year-old today just chucking rocks all over the place. Okay, this is going to work. 1 or 2 more of these rocks here, and it's going to be like flashbacks to being 7 years old. Down it goes, right? And I also chucked a rock all the way across a playground and drilled a bus and like injured kids with broken glass. You know, not so good. Sometimes you got to remember the stuff about yourself that you're not proud of. Especially when you're trying to entertain people, right? Are you not entertained with my stupid stories? But in any case, it was interesting that manifested itself, and I got really creative with it. I learned ways to throw rocks at objects and buildings and egg like utility companies. Okay, admittedly, I did egg a utility company later on when I grew up. This motherfucking utility company kept killing the power on the weekend. Of course, I wanted to play Dark Age of Camelot, and we would have no power, and I couldn't fucking join my clan and go rampage. And so my friend and I, we decided we would egg the utility company. I'm not going to tell you where. I don't want to get incriminated, right? Although the statute of limitations is probably far exceeded. Let's take a look here. We'll continue our story here. Looks good. Now watch this shit. Watch these javelins, right? This is 100 or 60 lake rats, and they have 10 javelins, right? So it's just going to be whoosh, as they fucking light up everything in sight. like a mother goose. We'll check our other side here, and then we'll finish our little rock storing escapades. Or egging escapades. My friend and I, we let 4 dozen eggs. Oh shit! There's enemies right here. I better run. We let 4 dozen eggs go bad. We left them in the sun till they're rotten, right? You don't know how that works. They get nasty, incredibly stinky, and we totally plastered the walls of this utility company that kept. They were intentionally killing power to do tests or some shit like that, but they kept doing it on a Sunday when they've got to know that people, are trying to use their. Now, there's obviously no day of the week that people are going to be happy to lose power, but I was exceedingly angry. If they were, a village, I would have raided them and hit devastate, right? Like, we were definitely angry that they were fucking ruining our fun, right? Our clan was rampaging the Dark Age of Camelot, and these motherfuckers kept killing our internet for 6 hours. So, needless to say, I guess my rock throwing days aren't entirely over, although that was a long time ago. All right, more random stories here. Let's see what we can do. But look at this maelstrom. Man, this is sick. Now, what do you do if they charge you? By the way, they will charge sometimes. Stick the other square. This 3rd division behind me here, we will simply jam that into the door, and then whatever's in the courtyard, we will destroy. We basically act almost like a door here. Like you can slam, what do they call it, a portcullis? A portcullis is like this metallic, it's sort of like a lattice-looking door that they would drop down on a situation like this and trap the enemy. We would effectively use these units to block and trap all these enemies within the courtyard, and then, of course, slaughter them with the infantry and whatnot units that are in here. Sort of, again, I've mentioned it multiple times, but just in case someone's never heard that before, you basically create an arena, and you say, 100 men enter, no men leave, right? To use the Mel Gibson quote from, how come I can't fucking remember the name of that? That's insane. Road Warrior, whatever the fuck. God, I'm getting old. I can't fucking remember. All right. So now we're going to get creative here. See these archers in the 2nd division? That happens because the reinforcements come in. Archers get sent to the 2nd division. So I'm going to do a little shift here, right? We're going to pull the 1st division out. And basically add some archers to this 1st division. Then we'll reform the archers right here. Now I have this 3rd division. They're auxiliary right now, right? Because of the battle size mod, we probably have 700 or 800 defenders on the screen. That gives me these options. Some of these sieges would be harder, by the way, if we did not have the battle size mod. Some of these sieges, when you only have 250 or 300 defenders, it is easier for the enemy to get through on a breach. Just so that you guys are aware of that. If you're doing the same strategies in your game, you obviously have a little bit more of a triage issue with your archers. All right, looking good, looking good. They're pouring through the main gate here, but these guys have wicked crossfire. I mean, every time I look over here, there's just arrows and javelins galore flying through here. And we're going to do a little switch here, right? We're going to basically switch these units out. I mentioned this before the battle started, right? So I've got all these different skirmishers. And a lot of the guys in the square right now, I can literally see their javelins over their shoulder. We want those guys using those javelins. They can't while they're in a square. They will occasionally throw them, but most of the guys are stuck in the middle of the square, obviously can't use them stuck in the square. So soon, when these other guys are getting kind of low in javelins, basically, once they've shot their load, we will swap those units out. Trying to get the 7th division a little bit more aligned here. These commands are really important if you want to get good at tactics and siege, to be able to tell a unit to follow you and then stop exactly where you want them to. Right? To have this ability to micro is really valuable. And the enemy here, talk about fucking mangled. I mean, look at this palace guard just to the left here. He's shot with 4 javelins. That's what's happening. The enemy is being fucking porcupined to death here. And look at that. See, that's archers joining that division because that's how the reinforcements come in. The 2nd division comes in like that. So we can get creative here in a bit. We will actually replace them with one of the other infantry divisions. So far, so good. Now we're charging over here because the enemy is coming down and they're starting to attack our archers. Not in our watch, right? We're going to fucking help these sides. You have to remember the other side, the siege tower, is destroyed. So we're only facing 2 accesses for the enemy. That obviously makes things much easier. Get off. all these guys charging these 60 enemies up here, they're all dead men. But we also don't want them mauled by archers, so we're going to let them finish their job here and then reset the division. They've got the 7th Corps protecting them from above there. Those guys are firing down into the courtyard. Anytime the enemy gets down here, you can actually see them shooting those guys too. Pick up some javelins here. In fact, there's javelins all over the place. You can actually see our guys chucking them against the wall because they're not exactly accurate. All right, I hear yelling and screaming at the gate. We better go make sure things aren't getting ugly here. They're not. They look great. However, I do see peasants in our square. You see the guys with no shields at all. In fact, he's holding the flag. Let's switch these guys out, right? You don't want peasants with their fucking flag and no shield and no armor making the square, so we're going to do a little swap here. In fact, this is very similar to my job as a firefighter. We do this when we're switching out people on a hand line. So we pull that 2nd division out, we can reform them, and like a magic trick, we replace that square at the gate with the third division. Now, a lot of those guys still have javelins too, but that's fine. They're having a hard time pushing over there. No. Oh shit, I moved the wrong unit. Freeze. Yeah, see, that's why you need to be able to go stop whenever you need it. And we'll move that 3rd a little bit further. Let's clean this division up. These guys are all over the place. And I rarely glance up, but I just looked at the power bar, and the enemy has a massive amount of troops still. This is Siege against 4,000. This is Epic Siege, right? We used to do a regular Epic Siege series. I got to about 25 episodes and started running out of material. Well, it's still going thanks to these campaigns. Now, these may not be released on a Saturday, but this is every bit of Epic Siege, right? 4,000 enhanced enemies sieging, and we've got a bunch of mediocre troops. I mean, the death spam tells you, militia archer killed so-and-so, right? We've got some ghetto troops in here making it work. Raider. It's fun just to glance up there sometimes at the death spam and see who's doing what. Veteran Forester got to kill, Raider got to kill. I love it. I especially love it when Looter killed, Elite Manavliaton. So that's my favorite. All right, these motherfuckers are charging again. Let's hold the line here so that our archers can work. And we're getting more and more guys in here that have no armor and really weak infantry and archers, militia and whatnot. But that's okay because they're shooting. They're not being attacked. If those guys are getting attacked by, palace guards, they're going to get shredded. You see all these guys with no armor at all, just cloth. Those guys will get 1 shot or 2 shot by high-level troops. So I'm not sure what's going on here. There's some random troops kind of attacking at the gate here. We will just amplify and assist with javelins and the occasional flying hammers. Help these guys out here a little bit. Pick up a few more javelins. Of course, that's one of the nice benefits of being in an army that has lots of javelin throwers, right? There's tons of javelins being chucked and they're landing on the ground, right? I almost can't help myself stand right here in the maelstrom and pick up a bunch of javelins. All right, more reinforcements are coming in. That's happening because we're losing troops. That's never a good sign. In fact, these guys charge too far. They're not responding. So if they don't respond, tell them to stop, line formation, pull back, and if none of that works, say retreat, right? If those guys stay on the wall after all of those commands, then you want to do F1, F7, but make sure you micromanage them. Otherwise, they will, oh, look at this. There's just a pile of javelins. Otherwise, they will literally retreat off the map. They will retreat to the main keep, and you won't have those units anymore. Look at this fucking death fucking chamber. The enemy is being totally liquefied. Liquidated. They're being liquidated and liquefied. Their blood is fucking pouring out of the fucking castle gates. Let's see if these guys reset. Now, you see how they're still jammed up there? I don't want that, right? So how do you get them back? If the regular commands don't work and they're just obstinate, tell them stop and retreat. There, it worked. Okay, it didn't make an asshole out of me. Now look at, they're all running back, right? In fact, they're getting kind of mauled on the retreat. But that's better than them being shot to death. But you have to reset them. If you don't do anything after that command, in fact, they're right back to being aggressive here. That's better than them being way up on the walls there. They were going to get shot to pieces up there. And this castle siege is going beautifully so far. Of course, it helped. We destroyed the siege tower with my excellent rock throwing ability, right? See, Mom, I knew that that talent would show itself. If she only knew, you know, when I was 6 and throwing rocks all over the playground, that there'd be a perfectly good use for it, right? That I would be able to destroy siege towers in Bannerlord by throwing rocks. She still wouldn't think that was a good reason to be throwing rocks, right? Of course, moms don't give a fuck about Bannerlord. This looks great. I mean, this looks like an untakeable keep at this stage. They keep sending giant waves through, but we have this square, and it's strong. It's holding out so strong, I'm actually going to pull some of these units and make a secondary backup square. What am I doing? I'm making a square. No, not spread. Let's see. Let's just bring them over here. I want another square that I can jam in here in case the enemy starts storming. Sometimes they will give up their attack on the square and just pour in against you. You want basically the option to slam the door, right? The door is wide open right now, of course, because we're not directly in it with the square. You want to make sure you have a division that at a moment's notice, fucking dipshits, you can shove that square in on them and it will take care of business. Just fall back here to my afroed militia. That guy had a giant fro. I love it. Speaking of adjustments to the game, if anybody knows of a mod where I can have my helmet be invisible, I want that. I want Cole's giant afro to be visible in these battles. His big beard, he's got an amazing look. He's just got the best afro you've ever seen. Maybe you're not a fan of afros. I think they're fucking awesome. But I want his afro visible, and of course, you can't do that normally without having no helmet, and then we would get one shot by archers and shit like that. So I hear more screaming at the gate. We'll pick up some javelins and head back over there. But if you know of a mod where I don't have to wear a helmet, but I still get the, in other words, I can just have a helmet on and make it invisible, let me know. This is interesting. The enemy's charging here with tons of units. I don't know where these guys came from, but this is a problem. Let's charge at the 1st, 3rd, and 8th and try to wrap these boys up. Now, they're being strafed by archers, and it actually looks like a smaller charge line. It looked like a huge amount of troops. We got this shit. Oh, shit, there's a ton of them right there. They're all swarming the square like a fucking giant fucking... It looks like a donut, and our troops are the whole. Kill these bitches. They're just crushing them with the hammer. I think they're routing. That's fucking routing. Yeah, baby. Fucking beautiful. Always brings a smile to my face to win sieges like that, right? With bald fucking whatever that guy is. What a fucking beautiful thing it is. The music culminates for us. We only killed 2,100 troops, so hundreds of their troops are pouring away. You know, they all basically, the AI looked at it and said, fuck, we haven't even killed, you know, we barely killed 400 of their troops. We can't win this. And that is a very accurate assessment, right? In fact, there's a giant Costco line, all these fucks lined up for samples, just pouring out of here, and they're being shot. That's awesome. Our troops are like trying to get a little extra anger out. Look at them. In fact, they're chasing them. Get them, boys. I love it. All these scrubby fucking bandits covered in blood. Look at these guys, a bunch of fucking, these are militia and peasants and shit. Go get them, boys. Sick them. I love it. If you don't love a good underdog story, well, I guess you're different than me. All right, take these lords prisoners here. And I think we'll wrap this episode up. That was an incredibly long siege. Of course, 4,000 enemies. It was going to be long. I didn't say it at the beginning. Strap yourself in, right? It's a little bit late. Again, we'll pick up the handful of prisoners that we can. There's not very many prisoners that we can take, right? We'll take... That's it. It's pretty grim. That's no good. We're down to 39 prisoners, but success is success, right? We just obliterated like 3/4 or half of the Southern Empire here at this siege defense. We get some nice loot. In fact, without the smithing, those would be a great find. Large bags of Jereeds, and there's 2 of them. That's a huge haul, but that's not going to benefit us very much because we have some javelins from smithing. What's this? They got some troops trying to retreat here. We're going to round these fucks up here. Let's see. Let's release a couple of these armies here and try to round them up. Sick them. And Yeah, see, it's doing that shit again. Thinking. What are you thinking about?
It's
Well,
been a while.
they should have been wrapped up in the siege here. The power bar almost says they're favored. We've got 360 troops. We fight. Fuck this shit. They're not favored. Well, they're not favored. It looked worse than it was. But I don't know what these troops are doing here. But nevertheless, we're gonna kill them. Is what we're gonna do. Right? They're just standing here like dipshits. We've got a dark landscape, which is never great. And we're going to make this quick, right? In fact, I might even edit this shit out. Unless it's interesting tactically, I'll probably just edit this shit out. But I'm getting these units that they seem to get stuck. I don't know if it's because I have a certain mod going, a strengthen AI mod or something like that. It's been really stable so far here as we have a little moonlit battle. But if you experience units being stuck like that and you know a solution to it, let me know, fellas. It hasn't really altered the game much, but you get units basically just standing there. I had one of my units in the Aserai campaign just stand there. Even when I tried to recruit it, they were not eligible for recruiting. So a strange little bug going on. All right, let's set up some defensive corridors here. Although it actually looks like they have the same idea. I think because of the power bar. We not only outnumber them, but we outpower them. So let's see here. We're gonna have to move up. Trying to think if I just want to scratch my ass here or keep narrating. Okay, so they're all going up in the hills and ridges there like fucking Afghanistani terrorists. Let's do some tactics for this shit here. Let's fucking snipe some of these punk ass horse archers. That's one of my favorite death sounds. I'm such a sadist. I love the sound of the enemy dying. Just it's fucking great. I probably would have made a horrendous fucking serial killer, just killing people for fun. Fortunately, I've got Bannerlord to get out my anger. All right, so let's keep narrating here. Let's do some tactics here for defensive enemy. Of course, we outnumber them, so this is not a real big challenge. But let's see what kind of manipulation plan we can come up with here. They've got a couple of horse archer divisions that are sort of jockeying with us. I've got too short of a hammer. We need our long hammer for these horse archers. They've got two cav divisions kind of countercharging here pathetically. Trying to cut us down and shit. Get the fuck out of here. And their archers and infantry, it's interesting. They're going around a corner there. It's almost like a peekaboo ridge attempt. But you know what? They're doing it wrong. This is going to be illustrative here. Don't do what the enemy's doing here. None of their archers have great line of sight. They're on the other side of the ridge there, but it's too narrow and too tight for them to do a peekaboo ridge. So we're going to get right underneath this ridge, right? Basically underneath these guys. And then we will lead with shield walls and squares around the corner, spread out archers, and bring in cav at the same time and obliterate them. Just like this gallant sword sister here, just... Love the death sounds. May do a little bit more imitating that shit just because it makes me laugh. It's still winter. It's never a bad thing to be laughing. Laughing's good for your soul. It's good for your relationship. You and your girlfriend, wife don't laugh very often. Fix it. Watch some comedy shows, whatever you gotta do. Look at how trapped these guys are. These cavalry can't move. The enemy here is trapped themselves. They're like stuck on the walls. All these guys are pinned up against the walls as our troops move in and just fucking shoot them to ribbons. He goes, gets drilled with the javelin. All right, let's get archers spread out here. They are shooting our shield wall line, so let's tuck it in a little bit here. We'll get our second division tucked in a little bit closer. And we're just going to be able to tear around the corner here with cav. This is just going to be a massacre. Look at these poor bitches. They're trying to reform. Too late. Charge. Right? In we come. And, of course, they're going to fucking freak out. In comes infantry. Our cav is going to get shot up a little bit coming around this corner here. But a lot of these archers can't shoot. And we've got archer divisions that'll be spreading around over here on this left. We'll get the 4th, 5th, and 6th brought up here. Archers, of course, have a peekaboo advantage on them, right? That's why you're seeing our archers killing their guys. They're already visible. Of course, there I go, getting hit in the head again. 59 damage. In fact, I better get out of here. Oh, shit. Get killed. I'll make fun of guys' death sounds until it's my own character gets killed in battle. In an ignominious fucking nothing battle. All right, they're getting scorched. Their infantry's absolutely shredded because they're within line of sight of our archers, but their archers can't help them much. Our archers are scorching everything in sight. They're all on fire. I'll tear your limbs. He's not really tearing limbs in this episode. He's or in this series. He's pounding limbs. I'll pound you to jelly. They got a handful of archers that are left here, but this battle is over. And, you know, did suffer a fair bit of casualties there, but that's okay. Victory is victory, and I'm happy to actually have this little battle added on to the end of Siege. I still don't understand why these armies just sit there. It's like, you know how armies gather and then they sit there and wait for troops to come to them? It's like they're stuck in some kind of bug like that. Like they're trying to gather troops even though they just had a siege where they lost their whole army. They shouldn't be trying to gather anymore. They should be running as fast as they can. They just stand there for some reason. All right, get a little bit of loot here. I think we're going to wrap this episode up. This episode is now going to be in the hour to hour plus range. Depends on what I edit. And these guys are handling this army here. Look at this. This guy looks literally stuck. I don't know if I can reach her on the battle screen. No, I can. What are you doing there? It's just holding. Holding. Well, you know the saying, fellas. Come with us. Right? She was never going to get away anyways. It's like a suicide attempt here. We'll just auto-resolve this because we're going to wrap this episode up. We will reinforce Ayakis here. I'm probably, I won't do it here. I'm going to sort some troops out here. We will restock the garrison. I got to reconfigure our army here and start to really get strategic with it because we're going to have some open field battles here against the Southern Empire. I'm going to take the war to them. It is true in the north we're dealing with the Aserai, right? But don't forget that they're being mauled, and I mean capital letters mauled by the Khazate. So I'm going to kind of leave it alone up there a little bit. We've got two cities up there I don't want to lose. I guess if Hassan Folk gets under siege, maybe I'll beat feet up there. But I would like to just take care of business down here and push the Southern Empire way back. Then we will go back north, right? It's one of the campaign strategies you want to follow in Bannerlord is attack one side and then, stay there for a while, pound them really good, reinforce it, consolidate your gains, and then head the other direction. All right, so all of that aside here, I think we will wrap this up. I'm going to sell some loot here. Normally I give you like a nice showing of the map. We'll wrap the episode up here. Of course, if you want to see more of this series, you want to subscribe and hit that notification button, fellas. I appreciate you guys. Please leave comments, criticism, jokes. Fucking tell me to stop talking so much or stop swearing so much. I'm probably still going to do both. With all that said, fellas, hit that like button. I forgot to mention that. Hit that like button. I appreciate you guys, like I said. And I will see you, friends, next time.